then Michael Hayes is like walking along. He's like, oh, hey, Michael, oh my God, Michael, did you see that? And Michael Hayes like stops. He looks annoyed that we stopped him. He's like, yeah, I saw it. It was good. A little too good. And he walks off.
Rewind, recap, relive. For over 50 episodes, the revolutionary force in wrestling interview.
Spot you did that's very well known that I'm curious if this had any lasting toll on your body. I'm sure I've heard you talk about it on Cafe, but the Royal Rumble elimination that looked incredibly vicious with Snitsky, what was that like for you?
Yeah, first of all, I was just like really excited to be a part of the Royal Rumble because that was my favorite pay-per-view. So when I was able to be a part of it, I was just amped, super amped. So then we get into like the meeting and they start going over like the order of going in and like who's getting eliminated and by who and stuff. And I don't know what my ideas were, but I thought, maybe I'll like get eliminated by Sean or Cena or like, you have these delusions. So then like I was getting eliminated by Snitsky, and Gene's a friend of mine, but at that time they had kind of given up on him as like a guy they were pushing, and I thought like, okay, well then what does that say about me? You know what I mean? If I'm like the glowing cruiserweight representative who won this cruiserweight elimination match to qualify and become a Rumble entrant, so I'm the representative. What does that say about that? So I was like a little miffed at it. So that's when I started thinking, and I thought, well, I've never been a fan of lazy eliminations. You know what I mean? Where it's like, time to go. Whoa. We're like, whoa, to the floor, slow. And so I just thought, well, I can do that. Yeah, if he lines me, yeah, that could start the rotation. Yeah, and it started making more sense to me. And I thought, well, this could be a cool elimination.
Paul came to me and he's like, hey, man,
let's do something like this. And he was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah.
I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. So then we kind of took the idea and kind of molded it to what you saw actually happen. Because it was like, I wanted it to look more like I was missing something and then just caught him out of the blue kind of thing. So that first clothesline I missed, but then the second one basically decapitated him. It was great. And I told him, I'm like, Paul, I love you, man, but I'm going to have to close on you square in the face to get you to flip over like that. He's like, that's fine.
And I cringe watching it. Just there's a moment of hesitation that it disgusts me. Where like I kind of almost like pop up like a gopher, and I'm like it's like I think for me it was getting my timing with him. But there's a moment of reset where I land on the apron and then I pop up. It's like I'm on his back and then like he flips me over and Taz is like, hang on, London. And I'm like hanging on. I get up onto the apron and we get up and like I pop up and I'm like, right. And then like throw it, right? Like what am I doing at that moment, right? Just waiting to see what this guy's gonna do. Like I'm like about to die. But they're like I pop up like a gopher and it's like, and then I duck under and I turn around and it's like wham, and then like yeah, he just murders me. And they knew what I was gonna do. I can't remember which ref rushed to me first, but it was fine. Their padding on the outside is the best padding. I mean, it was an impact, but I had so much fucking adrenaline that it was just I'd done it before.
So like when you watch it back, man, my forearm meets his head and it's vicious. Like watching it in real time, it's like holy shit. Oh my God. Like it looked even better than it felt. If that makes sense. Man, I was like right there watching them flip through the air and smack off the floor, and I was like, "Oh, that was nice."
Like, oh my God, are you okay? I was like, "Stay here." They're sending the stretcher. I'm like, "What?" And they put me on a stretcher, and they did all these replays. Like I didn't tell them to do that. They did it because they couldn't deny that it was something they had never seen before.
I heard that he got yelled at when he got backstage too. Like I was still in the ring after that, so obviously, but so I missed all that and all the rumblings. No pun intended.
So then I get to the back and they're like, "Oh, you okay?" And I popped up off the stretch and I was like, "Oh, that was awesome." And they were all kind of like, "The hell," And I was like weird. Not that I was expecting all this praise, but it was like, I know y'all had never seen that shit before. You know what I mean? So I get to the back, and Pat Patterson was like, "Oh my God, that was amazing! That was amazing." I was like, "Okay, that's more like it." He's like, "That was spectacular! Oh my God, you, oh my God, that was the greatest thing I've ever done." And then Michael Hayes is like walking along. He's like, "Oh, Michael, oh my God, Michael, did you see that?" And Michael Hayes like stops. He looks annoyed that we stopped him. He's like, "Yeah, I saw it. It was good. A little too good." And he walks off. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And then Shane walks up. He's like, Shane, did you see that? Like Pat Patterson, bless his heart. He was like my biggest cheerleader in that moment. He's like, "Did you see?" He's like, "Yeah, I saw it." And he like walked off. I was like, "What the fuck is up to these people's act?" Like, yeah, but it was just they sure as fuck weren't gonna top that. Come on, like
The way I heard it was like Vince ripped him a new asshole because it was like overshadowed everything else that had happened.
that's the kind of shit that just like would really get me really disillusioned with just being there. Like it would take all that gloss away where you're kind of like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. Like this is so." And then something like that would happen. You just think like, what do they want me to do? Yeah. Just throw some like, and now, and so like, and then I was off TV for a long time, and they acted so, I was like in a doghouse for it, and now.
We still talk about it.
They show it every year as if it's like Leitner's buzzer beater. You know what I mean? Like, every January, whenever the Rumble is, I get this stream of messages, and it's like, it's flattering. I'm very grateful for that. I mean, that's, but that's just, that also is a representation of how far I was willing to do, like what I was willing to do with my body for the sake of leaving some form of a stamp there, because I wasn't even getting peanuts, man. I was getting peanut shells.
It definitely resonated with a lot of people. And the last I saw the countdown, they do a countdown every year before the Royal Rumble, and it's been at number 2 for a while now. But I think it should be number 1.
Rewind, recap, relive. For over 50 episodes, the revolutionary force in wrestling interviews.